I got this dress from an online consignment shop to wear over the holidays, and while I expected it to have a relaxed fit, it turned out to be a lot more roomier than I would like. Even though the festivities are over, I want to share with you a great way to restyle an oversized dress. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what I did. Also, stay tuned to see what I made for my daughter with the leftover fabric and one of her old tops. You can't tell by looking at the dress from afar, but it has rows of pleats running down the center front, stopping somewhere around the waist. My plan was to keep the pleats intact and alter the lower half of the dress. I started by placing a piece of elastic around my waist to locate and mark my waistline. I then cut the dress in half along my waist marking. Afterwards, I tried on the skirt half, pinning it in the back with a safety pin to figure out how I could incorporate the three seams the dress originally had. What I did was position one seam in front to open up a split and another on the side as a side seam. I removed the third seam in the back along with the excess fabric, and that is where I added my center back seam. I used my hip measurement to determine how much I needed to remove. Before cutting, I meant to add 1.5 inches for wearing ease and allowance, but I made the mistake of doing the complete opposite. Somehow I managed to make it work, even though the skirt was a little tighter than I would like. Next, I sewed the back seam closed, leaving an opening to install a 6-inch zipper. To get rid of the excess fabric at the waist, I added a couple darts in the back. In the front, I took the excess in at the seam that's there for the split. Here's a close-up of the back darts and the one in front. As for the top half of the dress, the only alteration I made was to take in a couple inches from the side seams and reduce the armholes. To join the top and the skirt, I first sewed 2 rows of gathering stitch and gathered the hem except for the area with the pleats. I did this so the top would fit the skirt since it was much wider. Next, I pinned the pieces together, making sure that all the seams were aligned with each other before sewing. And for the last step, I opened up the front seam to create the slit. To reuse the leftovers, I grabbed one of my daughter's old long sleeve shirts. I laid out the fabric and opened up that third seam I had removed from the dress. I cut it in half and sewed them together to create one continuous piece. I then finished one side for the hem by turning it under twice by 1/8 inch. Next, I gathered the other side, then pinned and sewed it to the shirt hem, stretching it as I go along. Using the bit of fabric I had left, I added ruffles to the sleeve hem as well, and a partial pleated collar to the front. I pleated the finished strip of fabric the width of the front neckline, then basted and sewed them together with right sides facing. Lastly, I attach a collar to the shoulders to keep it in place. And that is it. I styled the dress with the cuffs open and paired it with my DIY designer dope heels. Let me know if you found this tutorial helpful. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting DIY fashion ideas. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay stylish.